Hi, I'm Meman. I have a son who is 10 months old.
Hi, I'm Daniel, and I have a 3-year-old son.
Hi, I'm Jonathan. I have a son who is 1 year and 10 months old.
Hi, my name is Maz, and I have two daughters, aged 12 and 8.
Hi, I'm Shikumar. I have a daughter who's 22 years and a son 18 years.
I was more nervous than excited when I got to know I was going to be a father.
How I got to know is that, we had to go to an hospital to check whether my wife had a stone in her stomach. And the doctor actually prescribed and gave medication for it also. But once I got to know it was this, one of the first things that hit me was, my age factor. Being very young and then financially, you need to think through. I won't say that there was no excitement, but then again, the nervousness was much more on, that particular moment, I would say.
For me, it was a case of something that we were trying for. We wanted a kid. I wasn't really nervous that we were going to get one, but the reason I'm not, I don't totally disagree with it as well is because even though, yes, we were planning for it, yes, finally we got the news that my wife was pregnant, it then came to it became real basically, knowing that, okay, someone's going to come into your life. And yes, we were planning for it, but everyone has a plan until you get hit in the face, right?
It was a twin baby initially, and suddenly we got the news saying one of the hearts had stopped, so we had to pull out one of the babies. At that time we thought, okay, now let's not be nervous because again, my wife will get scared, we'll get scared, we want to put everyone into it. So we said, no, it doesn't matter. Let's take the decision what doctor says, let's put the cord and keep moving. So I just took it cool and go because we had to think positive and keep moving in.
My child deserves privacy. I think it's really important that parents give that privacy, especially with regards to social media and all of that, because again, I don't know, you might grow up one day and ask, why do you put all these pictures of me? I don't know whether they ask that. But that's something so that I'm mindful of. But of course, the reason that I'm in a somewhat space is that there is also a certain level of involvement that I feel that we need to have. But of course, as they grow older and mature, maybe that will change as well.
Like to give them the privacy, I think they deserve it, and especially if you trust the process and you trust the way you brought them up, obviously you will get sort of the fruit at the end of it. But at the same time, with social media and everything that's happening on the internet, I'm a bit skeptical as well by giving them privacy because you get a lot of predators out there and stuff like that. So I may have a slight watch on them.
My son in particular probably have the same genetics as I do, and I've always been adventurous in life. So, and I've always learned from my mistakes. So the chances are that this chap will also probably be of that nature, unless he's like his mom. So I wouldn't want to force myself on him. Rather, he exercise his own privacy, and if there is a need for some accountability, and then he comes to me, and then at that moment I'm there for him.
I believe daughters must be raised different to sons. Again, I don't have a daughter, so I wouldn't have the same experience. But then I think when you say different, it doesn't necessarily mean that you stereotype them into certain gender roles. I think it's a lot more to do with the kind of the support system around that you will give a son versus a daughter. To me, my take on it is that maybe the kind of you are not exposing them to such an extent that it can kind of create harm. It so happens that 99.9% of women in Sri Lanka are harassed in public places. So the question is really, then how do you let your son go in the bus from, let's say, grade 6 or grade 5 or as young as he wants to, and do you let the same thing do for your daughter, which in that case I might slightly differ because at least I will want to give that support.
In terms of exposure, privileges, empowerment, it's the same thing for me. Whether it's a daughter or a son, they are entitled to the same kind of experience, both positive and negative. And rightly agree that the percentage of harassment taking place in public transport, which females, I wouldn't want my daughter to go through that. But if this is the reality that is going to be looming for quite some time in our lives, I would bring up my daughter in a way to combat this harassment, to be tough enough to deal with that. So as much as a guy can be tough enough, I want to make my daughter equally tough enough.
My daughter, of course, she was living here and then again she was living abroad also. But she felt a different way. When she was abroad, I felt she was more safer than in Sri Lanka. I don't know why I felt that. But there, I just felt okay. Wherever she goes, I used to call and ask her where, and she said, no, Papa, I'm in the bus or whatever. But I was feeling more comfortable. Rather in Sri Lanka, when she's here, I always say, okay, let me come and drop it. I don't know why that fear.
I would be happy if my child decided to follow a different faith.
Can I shake it?
Give a second, huh?
I'm going to stand here. To be honest, I don't think I will disagree. But then again, emotionally, there might be a lot of things running on my head. Because whatever said and done, the child has been brought up in one particular faith, being taught, what we believe in. So from that point onwards, if he's going to take that as a decision, I'm totally clueless what I will do. At the same time, I don't think I will be emotionally happy saying, it's a good decision. Or to say the right decision or not, I don't know.
Growing up, I believe like whatever religious belief, I was born of one religion, and throughout my life, you've been hard-coded. You've been told, this is what you have to do, this is what you have to follow, and I've been following that. But over the recent past, what has been happening is I've been, asking questions, looking at different other aspects, different religions, and I've found my peace in understanding that maybe yes, there is something that's responsible for the universe, something a creator out there, and I would like my kids also to find that for themselves, whether it's the religion that I've been born with or whether they would like to find something that can find them happiness and fulfillment for themselves. Right now, we've moved away from religion and looking more in terms of gratitude every night, being happy for everything that you have, being thankful for what you have, paying thanks for whatever there is out there, for the opportunities that you have as well. But in terms of, I think it's important to have a spiritual identity, but I don't think you need to have the labels per se. I am this and I am that. My religion is better than your religion. So that's something I'm trying to do away with.
I've been brought up in a faith in which I have invested my entire life in. And I have benefited from it. So obviously I'm going to influence my child. I don't want my son or daughter, if I do have one in the future, to use to make religion and faith a superficial facade. It has to be something committed to. So just for the sake of marriage changing your faith, for me faith is important. Whether you're a Muslim, Buddhist, Christian, Hindu, it's something that is very sacred and important. So it shouldn't be just for the sake of getting through life or making a statement. It has to be genuine. I also somewhat disagree in the sense, if they find happiness, if they can become a better human being, make this environment, this society much better, and if this new faith, or non-faith for that matter, makes them a better contributor to society, I'm perfectly okay with that.
I think genuinely, if I was to kind of be introspective and ask myself, that's where I'm on a somewhat disagree, because I can't genuinely say that I will be kind of happy, but also on the other side, I don't think I will be heartbroken as well. So that's where I am, rather than the shoulds and woulds. I'm really looking at what my reaction would probably be.
Initially, I was from another religion, then I came into Christianity. But I really taste the difference on both, and we are plugged into a certain society which we are moving, and my children are also there. So we are all happy, living as happily. I don't want my children again to re-change again, because I know, because I have seen the changes as it comes to my family or to myself or to my wife or my son and daughter. And a certain thing what they do, they take certain faithful moves and they do, and they win. So that is what I want. So I want to make sure they stick to what we are doing. I mean, it does not mean I'm forcing them to say, no, you should be there. Because I myself came from another background and I changed. So I can see the difference on that.
The man is the head of the house.
me, the question was, man is the head of the house. There are so many cases where the child is the head of the house. Where both parents are unable to even take care of themselves. In my home, it's been my beautiful wife who has been the stable force taking care of me. Just because I'm a man doesn't make me the head of the family, right? We are equal partners working together.
Back in the day, I used to use terminology like, when I used to look after the kids, I'm babysitting. And I'm like, no, that's parenting, that's a part of your responsibility as well. So I think we all have our equal share of responsibilities which we have to do, and it's like division of labor. My wife quit a couple of years ago and she's been at home, but by no means do I think that my work is more important than hers. I think she also has an equal role to play, so and as do I. And I think we need to work in unison in order for the family to thrive. And if one of us, are off our game, that could cause it to sort of derail.
There are certain nuances, there are certain things that a woman is able to do, which you must admit that I can't personally see myself able to do multitasking. So in that sense, in terms of performance as a parent, a woman who's able to run a business, taking care of a child, and giving 120% in that. That is something that is truly admirable.
And certain times we also decide, because my daughter also, she's also 2 years. So certain decisions we also sit together without, we'll say, okay, why don't you be there and make some decisions. Sometimes we stick to what my daughter says, or we'll say, okay, fine, we'll go ahead with that.
I think where it's come about is the narratives right from the start of time have been more male-oriented, right? Where males are dominated, and even if you refer to a spiritual being, maybe God, you refer as he and not she, right? So I think that's where it's coming from, very patriarchal sort of past, and that's why a lot of times we're also thinking, okay, man of the house, who's alpha, and it automatically goes towards man, but I think that's changing over time.
I hope no one calls us now beta man. What's this new term? Are you a beta man? This new term. Those of us who talk like this are supposed to be beta.
Yeah. I have neglected my mental and physical health ever since I became a father.
Once I had my son, I'm anyway in the fitness industry, so it was just a challenge to be even more physically fit. I think it has been very helpful so far, being able to be physically fit and mentally. Mental health is a good state, allows me to interact and have good times.
When I had my first kid, it was about 12 years ago, and back then it was, everything, the kid took the center stage basically at that point in time, and I sort of neglected a lot of things that I would have liked to actually do what I'm doing today. So it started off not so well, but then after that I realized, listen, if I wanted my kids to be physically fit, if I wanted them to develop themselves mentally, emotionally, spiritually, I had to be that example for them, because kids never listen to what you have to say, they watch what you do. So I can't tell them, listen, get up in the morning at 5 o'clock and run 2 kilometers if I don't do it as well. I can't tell them to start reading books if I don't read books.
I don't think anything has deteriorated after the birth, but I think also maybe I have the youngest kid out of the lot, so maybe it's still early days. At the end of the day, when 7 o'clock or something, when your wife gets back and you hand over, you're not really in the best kind of physical state also to then go and hit the gym also, because for the whole day you've been kind of running around. So hopefully I will get there, but that's the reason that I'm kind of in the middle.
So in my life, I've had to go for many board meetings with my infant when he was only 1, 2, 3 months. I spent most of the time with him actually walking, moving around. Movement was important for me, so I moved with him, so much so the guy can't stay in one place now. I had the great privilege of climbing Sri Lanka's second highest mountain when the guy was only 6 months old. He trekked with me all the way up there and back. So that's something I would always encourage dads and moms to do. It's just physical mobility, important.
I think the more active you are outside, the kid actually, tends to go out, tends to be away from the phone. So whenever I go out for something, the things that I choose is like totally different to what my wife chooses. I bring him, a cricket bat and a set, a basketball. It's given to him. Then he tends to take it and throws about, and then the glass starts falling and then you get this yelling and all. But then again, it keeps him active. It keeps him away from the phone and all that.
My dad, when he had me, was into his late early 40s. So his movement patterns with me, I don't remember times playing with him. I don't want that to happen here. I want this guy to know that dad crawled with me, moved around, we went hiking, we traveled around the world. So by the time the guy was 8 months, the guy had already been to about 12 odd countries. So exercise kept me alert also when dealing with all the poop.
He said one day we'll leave this world behind, so live a life